Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm super excited every summer ever, right? And it's so fun to welcome in the summertime. It's June 15th. Summer solstice is soon upon us, and I'm so excited to really talk about this topic because I feel like so many people come to the summertime and it's like, oh my gosh, like you think of rosé on the patio and beers at the pool and just these old school memories. And I just want to squash all that romanticism right now and really show you a way to have the best alcohol free summer that's so much better than the dumb marketing that we get around alcohol and a summertime with it, right? Myself, I'm actually in Warsaw, Poland right now. So you see my backdrop is a little different than what it usually is. So I'm traveling this whole summer with my husband. We're going to be in Poland a lot, but we're also going to be in France and Italy, Croatia, Greece, some Turkey, some Israel. It's going to be really amazing. And I'm obsessed with traveling alcohol free. It's one of my greatest pleasures in life. The first time I tried it, I fell in love, and I continue to try it a lot. In fact, I went on 12 trips on my first year without alcohol. So I went, to Asia. I went to tons of places in the United States. I went to tropical Caribbean islands. I went to places in Latin America. I went to Europe. Really speak to having an incredible time when you're not drinking alcohol. 6 ways to have the best alcohol free summer. This summer, it's coming. The long days are here. The sun is shining. We're having some beautiful, beautiful weather or some just long time. Like the sun doesn't set all early. It's just this energy that's different. You stay up and you hang out on the patio or you go to the pool or the beach or the lake, whatever. It's just such a cool energy. My birthday is in the summer. I was born July 24th, so I love summer energy. It's my favorite season of all time. And there's just certain places that I like wouldn't visit if it wasn't for the summertime. Like I love to be able to swim. I love to be able to like really relish that heat. And so summertime is my favorite time, obviously, to see a lot of different places around the world. But how can you have the best summer ever? Now, you might be just taking a break from alcohol. You might be even a few months into it. And, summertime can come up with some triggers as well, right? Summertime is the time where people are coming out late, they're hanging out, there's drinking at the barbecue, the pool, the beach, whatever, all the things. And it can almost feel like there's this romanticism that we've literally been marketed around, this romanticism of, the coronas at the beach or the rosé on the patio. And it's such just BS, right? Let's squash that romanticism right now so that you can have an incredible summer without all that. So, my first tip for you on how to have an amazing alcohol free summer is to really relish getting in nature. Like I said, the sun is shining. I'm in Europe. I'm in Northern Europe right now. So the sun is out until like 9 p.m. I was in Paris. It was like 10 p.m. Even back in San Diego, it was around like 8, 8:30 sometimes when the sun would go down. And it's such a beautiful time to use the full day and the beautiful weather to get outside, right? So the thing is that when we drink alcohol, alcohol actually diminishes our ability to feel wonder. So alcohol actually diminishes our ability to feel much dopamine. It gives us a high spike of dopamine in the moment that we drink it, and then it crashes really low. But then in all the other times of your life, actually your baseline dopamine is lower. The retractors in your brain that actually capture the dopamine, they retract, right? And that's been proven. So our ability to feel and experience dopamine is lower. Same thing with serotonin and GABA, other neurotransmitters that make us just feel really at peace and calm and just in love with the world we're seeing. We can't really feel the depth of our experiences when alcohol is in our system. And not just when you're drunk, obviously you're drinking, it's like all the time. Alcohol doesn't just numb the bad, it also numbs the good. It actually desensitizes us from experiencing true joy. And I think there's nothing better than really reconnecting with that joy than going outside and being in nature. Now, I don't know where you live, but whether you're in a city or not, like summertime's a great time to actually get out of the city, take a road trip, go somewhere beautiful, go to a lake, go to a mountain, go to a river, go to the beach, go somewhere in nature. And even if it's just a day trip, even if you just take 4 hours, leave your house, go somewhere on a road trip, and just experience being in nature. And obviously, you could do it with friends, with family, with your loved one, but alone gives you so many benefits as well. Taking a trip alone, just even a 4 hour road trip to hang out in some nature, will like give you this time to really have some solitude, some silence, and just to see the beauty of the world unfolding in front of you. You know, I think we live such overwhelmed lives. I think we get so frustrated and frantic and busy, and we forget to connect with the beauty of the world. And you know, it's a miracle, this planet that we live on. Like, think about it. There's Mars out there, right? And there's Mercury out there, and there's Venus out there. And like, look at our planet Earth. Look at how different planet Earth is compared to the other planets. Like, we have snow capped mountains, right? We have these beautiful white beaches. We have turquoise waters in certain oceans and seas around the world. We have beautiful, lush jungles. We have beautiful trees and smells and the birds and all this stuff. And we forget about it all the time. We forget. And so, my first tip for you to have an amazing summer is to remember what it feels like to be alive, you know, standing in this beautiful world that you created for yourself, that you've really, that has been created for you, that is around you, that is giving you this sensory pleasure of literally just looking at something beautiful. And I think it's just a really cool way, again, to not only like remember how beautiful this world is, but also reconnect with yourself and what you really want away from the city, away from other people, and just really hear like messages from your heart in this beautiful natural place, right? My second tip for you on how to have the best alcohol-free summer ever is to travel, okay? So if you're new to the alcohol-free space, you might be thinking, but wait a minute, traveling is like that's how I unwind. I drink a lot when I travel. There's always this party, there's this bar scene, like we're always doing this, we're always going to the restaurants, there's always drinking. You know, most adults drink every day when they go on vacation, even if they don't drink every day at home. And I want to just turn that on its head and tell you that you will have the best vacations alcohol free, especially if you're in the right mindset and that you're really looking for all the pleasure you can have. And so if you don't have any summer trips this summer, like let's get them on the calendar. You know, obviously you can have a big summer trip, you can travel to a different country or something like that, but it could also be a camping trip, right? It could also be in a little town or a little hamlet or a little place, you know, just an hour away from you, right? But let's get something like that on the calendar for you to look forward to. And again, the thing is when you remove alcohol from your system, you're able to experience wonder again. You're able to experience appreciation and gratitude to limits that were not possible when alcohol was in your system. And so, you know, when you travel, I actually think that gets magnified by threefold, right? Because not only do you feel that pink cloud energy and you're feeling happier and better and healthier, but now you go somewhere new and you have this like new eyes, you have the new perspective of being like, whoa, this is so beautiful, whether it's a cultural site, whether it's a, you know, like somewhere in nature, whether it's just seeing and meeting new people, like it just gets magnified. And the thing is like, if you have a hang up around like, oh my God, I can't imagine going on a trip and not being able to drink, like there is so much more to do than alcohol, right? Like I love, for example, I love to actually go and watch the sunrise. When I'm like on a beautiful beach vacation or just somewhere in the mountains or something, I never did that when I was drinking. I would never get up at like 5 or 6 a.m. to watch the sunrise. No way. And now I love doing that. I love actually commemorating the day like that. I don't feel fuzzy when I wake up. I don't feel like, oh, I don't want to go on this hike or I don't want to go snorkeling today. Like I'm 100% in it. And I share this example in my book, but I'm going to share it again with you right now. So I went to Hawaii and I think I was about 2 months alcohol free at that point, maybe a little less, maybe a month and a half. And I met someone there. I was on the beach and she was on the beach and we just started talking and she asked me to go for a drink with her. And I just told her, you know, I don't drink, but I'd happily go, you know, for a mocktail with you. And so we went to a bar and so we were sitting on the beach. We went to go to a bar and at the bar, she proceeds to drink a lot, right? Like I just order one alcohol-free beer and she has like 2 drinks and 2 shots. And I'm like, okay, you know, like she just drinks a lot in a really quick period of time. And we leave the bar, we go back to the beach, and she's bolado. She's drunk or super buzzed, whatever it is. She's starting to get really sentimental about an ex. She's starting to, you know, complain about certain things. She's starting to get repetitive. And I just look at her. It's only 1 p.m. at this point. And I just look at her and I'm just like, oh my God, like there's nothing left for her to do today. There's nothing for her to do. Like the only 2 choices she has at this point of the day is either to go to sleep or to keep drinking more, right? Those are her only 2 options. That's it, right? And I was just like, I felt so sad for her because my day was filled with so much adventure, I could go on a hike, I could go on a run, I could go snorkeling, I could go on some kind of, beach adventure, I could go to a museum, I could go check out these different restaurants. I had so much to do on my plate, right? And I looked at her and I felt so sad. I was like, she can't do any of that now. And the thing is I wasn't trying to be judgmental or like look down on her because I've been her. I've been in a situation where I literally voted for drinking in a dark bar over the tropical, beautiful place that I was at to actually experience. I've done that before. And it sucks. It literally sucks. Like, why do we save all this money, all this time to go fly somewhere just to sit around and drink there when we could have done that at home instead of actually doing the things that we want to do and see in that beautiful place, And, this experience just showed me that I get to do so much more when I'm alcohol free. And, like just one example, you go to a resort, like a beach resort, in Mexico or in Florida or something like that, and you day drink. I never even swam. Like I literally never even swam when I was doing that. Like there was no swimming happening, right? And now I love to swim. So it's just such a different experience when you travel. And I think it will really open your eyes and give you such a beautiful perspective on how amazing it feels to not drink on a vacation, but also not in the summertime. All right, my third tip for you is called picture the alternative. I also teach this concept in my book and in all of my programs. It is this concept of basically imagining what would happen in the current situation that you're in if you drink. And you imagine it not to romanticize it, but you actually imagine the reality. And you notice how lucky you are in this moment that you don't have to drink. So say like you're at a barbecue, say you're at a 4th of July barbecue, right? You're at a 4th of July barbecue and you're having a good time, you're drinking your mocktails, you see the fireworks and then you go to bed at a reasonable hour, you wake up feeling fresh, everything's great, right? But let's contrast that to imagining if you had drinking at the barbecue. You would have had one beer and then you would have had another and then you would be like, oh, I'm trying to pace myself, so I shouldn't have another. And then you would start getting like that mental gymnastics game that you play where you're not really paying attention to what's going around you. You're just doing the should I, shouldn't I game, And then maybe you start drinking more. You kind of like don't even care about the fireworks at that point. You go to bed really late. You wake up feeling pretty fuzzy, pretty like not your best and kind of regretful. And you don't have any like positive memories of the 4th of July now because you feel shame instead, right? So that's called picturing the alternative. So who's the one who's having more fun, right? Is the person who didn't drink. And when you do that, especially in the moment of what you're experiencing, you get to just feel so much gratitude and so much happiness that you don't have to drink, that you actually get to experience a life of more because you're not drinking. Okay, use that on vacations, use that on trips, use that anything you do for, this summer, and you're gonna feel lucky. My next one is hobbies. So it's tip number 4. So like I just said on vacation, like when you're not drinking, you get to wake up and appreciate the day and seize it and do so much more with your time. And, I was just talking to a woman in Warsaw and she asked me what I did for a living and I told her I help people stop drinking and find their deeper purpose. And she's like, oh my God, I need that, right? And she didn't have a so-called problem with alcohol, but she just noticed all of her time and energy that was like free time was going to hanging out at bars with her friends. And then she would wake up tired and out of it the next day. And she noticed that when she was hanging out with people who had like hobbies, like she would go to surfing with her friends, or she would go like do like rope walking. She would just do all this stuff. But when she hangs out with a different set of friends, they just like to drink at a bar. And she was like, oh my God, that life was so much happier. That life was so much better. And oftentimes when we are associated with people who have a lot of ambition and growth and just a vivacity for life, like they do fun things that don't involve alcohol, right? There's so much to do and try in the world. Have you ever been paddleboarding, for example? Have you ever done yoga with a baby goat, for example? Have you ever taken a pottery class? Have you ever taken a tango dancing lesson? Have you ever done Zumba? Have you ever gone to the botanical gardens in your city? Have you ever gone to the museum? Have you ever, done any kind of dancing class? Have you ever tried this martial art? Have you ever gone to the movies to see the old like art house film that's aired at midnight at your local cinema? Have you ever, gone to this lake? Have you ever, gone to this olive oil factory? Have you ever done this painting class? Have you ever done this, maybe buying a domain and working on a blog? Like there's so many things that we've never done. And then we think the only thing that's fun to do is to drink a chemical that literally numbs our brains, right? Like it's asinine. We're the ones who aren't trying the fun things. Like it's up to us to actually go out and do it. And my first year alcohol free, I remember I did so many different things. I just like pushed myself out of my comfort zone. I went to Zumba classes, I went to writers workshops, I went to paddle boarding, I went to yoga classes, I went to botanical, like I just did stuff that was kind of not on my usual agenda. And it felt so good to explore the world again and to feel that sense of adventure and just newness, you know? So really think of the summer of an opportunity as what hobbies you can pick up. And maybe you have no idea what that is yet, so just try stuff. You know, if you've always wanted to try a knitting class, go sign up for the knitting class. If you've always wanted to try to learn how to disc golf, for example, go do it. You know, fill your summer with really fun hobbies and not just hanging out and doing nothing and drinking. My next one, number 5, is have fun trying new alcohol-free drinks. Now, this in itself can be a hobby where you literally go explore the world of alcohol-free drinks. Almost doesn't matter where you live these days. Like the alcohol-free industry has like just exploded all over the world. There's so many new and cool drinks out there. And whether they're alcohol-free drinks that you order online or in a special shop, or even just go to your local health food store and see what cool things they have. Maybe they have like a cool new matcha elixir or some reishi mushroom drink or some, you know, coconut water or some health tonic. Like it doesn't matter what the drink is. It doesn't have to mimic alcohol. I'm not saying that. Have fun exploring it. Like go to a store one day, go to Whole Foods or go to a health food store or just a hip shop and find like 10 new drinks you want to try and bring them all home and do like little taste tests and see which drinks you like the best. Like that can have so much fun. I have a comment here that says, are they full of sugar? So actually alcohol-free beers often have only 10 calories, 20 calories sometimes. There are so many low sugar drinks. St. Ivy is a really great company. They make ginger mules, mocktail mules, and they make mojitos, they make gin and tonics, and they have 0 sugar in them, right? 0 sugar. And they have like Spindrift, for example. I love Spindrift. It's just fruit puree plus sparkling water. So there's no extra sugar. It's like 10 calories. And here's the thing. I know that we can sometimes get worried about sugar, and that's obviously a good concern, but you don't even know how much sugar is in alcohol, right? Like companies are not required to label it, but alcohol is actually made out of fermented sugar. So we take things like grapes or potatoes or, you know, barley or whatever it is, and we ferment that and we ferment the sugars in that. And that is literally what creates alcohol. Then in addition to that alcohol, like there's more added sugars that are usually added. So if a glass of wine had the label, how much sugar a glass of wine is, I bet you so many health freaks and so many people who are just really obsessed with making sure that they're not having too much sugar and just really regulating that would really be appalled because there's so much sugar in alcohol and we just don't notice because it's not on the label and we just normalize it. We just normalize it and say like, oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't count, right? And so that can be a really, really good way to just have a fun time exploring. And that way, when you find the drinks you love, you know, I recommend Acid League. I recommend St. Ivy, like I said. There's so many. Like I can't even keep up sometimes. Once you find something you like, that's what you bring to the summer barbecue. That's what you bring to the 4th of July party. That's what you bring to the birthday. That's what you bring to the camping trip. Like, so you have something you really enjoy and you can have fun with it. June says, can you provide some one-liners for weddings and bachelorette parties? I haven't been to either of these since college. I'm 38 now and definitely have never been sober at many big social occasions. I simply avoid the outing, which isn't good. I'm so nervous for the summer outings. Yes, that's such a good one because, you know, weddings and bachelorette parties are, let's just be honest, they can be shit shows, right? They are full on drinking festivals in our culture. And, you know, people expect you to drink and not to just drink a little, but to drink a lot at these parties. I've been to both bachelorette parties and summer and weddings a lot since I've been alcohol free. And, you know, one-liners, like we have to start thinking about our decision not to drink as like a right that we have. Like if it's okay to be vegan, if it's okay to be gluten-free, if it's okay to be dairy-free, paleo, whatever it is, if it's okay to choose what you put in your body based on what makes your body feel the best or is the healthiest for your body, why the hell do we not have that option with alcohol, right? And so I don't even necessarily like think that we owe anyone an explanation, right? And I love this question because it's not about sharing this big long explanation. It's literally just having a one liner. So sometimes like I think the most honest truth is I'm taking a break and I feel amazing, right? So it's like someone's trying to offer you a drink and you're like kind of putting a wall up because you're like, I feel amazing as I am. You don't get it. I don't need a drink, right? And you're not saying it that way, but I think it can be such a good one-liner to just say, I'm taking a break and I feel amazing. It's kind of like, I don't need your buzzy drink. I don't need your buzzy juice, right? I'm good here. And it can be really truthful, right? Like you don't have to say I quit drinking forever, or you don't have to come up with an excuse either, like I'm on antibiotics. It's actually really clean and succinct, and really usually people don't push you more on that because you already said you're feeling amazing. So like you don't need the thing that they're offering. And why can't we wear this? And especially for a bachelorette party, you might want to preemptively sometimes tell your friends because they might be expecting it. But I've definitely been to bachelorette parties and like, come on, we're all not 21 anymore. I mean, I don't know if you're watching if you're 21, but we're not 21 anymore. We're not these like young and dumb people who just do these disastrous weekends and just shake it off the next week. Everyone's getting older. Everyone's feeling these effects. And it actually might be a really welcome change to be the one person who's not drinking at one of these events because other people wish they were doing it too. I always like to share that around 60% of Americans of drinkers actually want to drink less or not at all. So every single time we go out to a social occasion and we're choosing not to drink, we're actually being an inspiration and a role model to those people who wish they weren't drinking, but they haven't yet gotten the courage to do that. And so like, especially if I'm going to a bachelorette party, I'm 35 myself. I know secretly that none of my friends actually want to go and get smashed. Like, yes, that might be the like, ooh, girlfriends weekend kind of intention. But I know in their souls, like in their hearts of hearts, no one actually wants to deal with those consequences. No one feels good after drinking. I went to a bachelorette party a few years ago. I was still drinking then. But the bride, she got so drunk that she had to sleep in the bathroom both nights and was throwing up all night. What kind of memory is that? What kind of like fun bachelorette party is that? Like, does she look back fondly on her bachelorette party, or does she have like huge regrets on how she spent it? We need to be the ones that change the culture. And I recently went to a bachelorette party in New Orleans, and it was with my friend Danielle, and she doesn't drink either. And we had the most incredible time doing so many other things, cultural activities. We went kayaking with crocodiles. Like, we just did so many other things that didn't involve alcohol. Now, I know that can be a little harder, obviously, when you have a group of women who are drinking, but I bet you can find the 3 people at the bachelorette party who also don't want to take part in the shit show, who also want to stay healthier and want to like not drink so much. And I would bond with them, and I would use like them as a way to be like, all right, we're not really into this drama, we're gonna like drink our mocktails over here or drink a lot less, whoever they are, and that can often feel really good. And trust me, the people who are over drinking wishes that they were the people who weren't. You know what I mean? We just need to start owning these things with confidence. At a wedding, I'm usually pleasantly surprised that there's some kind of alternative drink, like for a champagne toast. Sometimes at a wedding, people will ask if you want champagne or not. If there's nothing like that, obviously you can toast with like water. If it's an open bar though, and there's any drinks available, there's so many options for mocktails. And so just finding what mocktail you like that a bartender can make you, even if they have no idea what the word mocktail is, like if they have sparkling water and they have pineapple juice and you like that combination, ask the bartender to make you that, right? If it's only a wine and beer situation, like, obviously there might not be very many options, but find the drink you love. And I think the one-liner, again, that I love the most is I'm taking a break and I feel amazing, because it doesn't signal anything's wrong. It doesn't signal that like, you're looking to drink. Like, you actually feel really good and you're like, thanks, you guys go on your merry way. So that is tip number 5. And let me just quickly round off with tip number 6 on how to have the best alcohol-free summer is to swim. So, when we were kids, summer literally meant the time that we put on our bathing suits and we went to the local watering hole, or we went to the pool, or we went to the ocean, or we got out the slip and slide and we swam and we loved it. Or waded in water, whatever you did as a kid. And we lose that as adults. Like, most adults don't swim. They go to Mexico, they go to Florida, they go to these places where you can go swimming, and they just sit on the beach and drink all day. And they totally miss the experience of swimming. So wherever you go this summer, whether it's a pool, we have the warm weather almost everywhere in the world at this point, unless you live in Antarctica, go find somewhere to swim. And I bet you will love the experience. You'll feel like a kid again. You'll feel so exhilarated that you're not wasting your time day drinking on the beach or wherever it is, that you're actually taking advantage of the beautiful, ripe opportunities of the summertime and swimming in beautiful water. And I think swimming is, for me, one of the quickest connections to just like feeling so grateful to be alive on this planet, just feeling like, oh my gosh, like sometimes swimming on my back, like not even really swimming, but just laying there on my back in the water and looking up at the sky, like those are the moments that I remember the most on all the different trips I've ever been on. Just feeling that gratitude, that awe, that appreciation, that like connection to something bigger than me. You're in the water, it's not easy to swim necessarily either, so like it gives you a little bit of a challenge, but get out there and swim, get out there in water. And especially too, like I grew up swimming, and then as like a teenager and as like in college, I would go to the beach, but I would stop going into the water. Like, oh, the water's too cold. I will almost never use that as an excuse anymore to not go swim. If there's a watering hole, if there's a river, if there's an ocean, and if it's safe to swim in, obviously, I will always take the opportunity now because I never regret it. It always feels exhilarating. And especially if it's cold, it often makes me feel like a badass Wonder Woman at the end. I'm just like, whoa, I did it. That felt so good, right? So go swim. So those are all my tips for you on how to have an amazing alcohol-free summer. Just to recap, get in nature, go travel, picture the alternative of what it would feel like to drink and feel so lucky that you don't have to do that experience. Get into a lot of hobbies. Try a lot of new things this summer, Go to the tango lesson, go to the pottery class, go to the outdoor movie in the park. Have fun doing like these beautiful activities you loved to do as a kid or you always wanted to try. Have fun trying all the alcohol-free drinks, find one you love, and then obviously go swim. So I hope you enjoyed this live today. I'll be back next Wednesday at the same time, same place. Have a beautiful summer. The sun doesn't set till late tonight. Go on a gorgeous walk, look at the moon, look at the stars, go swim, go eat some ice cream. Like, have a beautiful time. Feel like a kid again. And I really think that's what going alcohol free really makes me think of the most during the summertime is I feel like a kid again. Bye-bye.